Welcome to another Building Sailing Yacht Mistress episode, everybody. In order to hold this tubing taut so that it doesn't sag down, where I continue with installing the V-berth lining and some. So as you can see here, it's not exactly a straight line. Now it can be seen what the plan is here. The idea is to fit the batten to the actual panel. So as you saw, I've just whipped up that little knee. What I'm doing here is, in order to hold this tubing tight so that it doesn't sag down and flap around when the boat's moving, is I've just used the light line to put a bit of tension on those lines to get them nice and taut. And then I'm just using a bit of Fix 15 onto this side of the tubing where it will connect with the beam itself where it passes through. And that'll just stop it. It'll act like a plug to stop it from moving. I've actually done the same at a couple of beams along the way. Something to mention also, something that was mentioned to me some time ago, in terms of the wiring cable potentially being warmer than the surrounding air, causing condensation. And that may not be because the cable is heating up as a result of not being the right size, but even if you're in a cooler climate and the cable ends up being warmer than the surrounding air, then some condensation could form on the cable. And so if it's within a conduit whereby that condensation can't escape, then you end up with water in your conduit. Now this tubing that I'm using is actually split loom, so it's got a split the whole way, as you can see. But it doesn't mean to say that where the split is, where it's at its lowest point, that the split would be at the bottom. So what I've done is I've actually just drilled some holes in these lowest points of the tubing, and as you can see, these do sag down a little bit before they join up with that hard conduit. Offset them so that the top one doesn't drip exactly over the bottom one, and also this wiring cable that feeds off to the other side of the boat where there'll be a junction point. I've also allowed the cable to have a slight loop at the bottom, or a dip, for the same reasons, that it has a point to drip off before it runs down that solid conduit. just to explain here with regards to these battens, because they do look a bit strange the way that they're fitted. The main reason that I've put these here is to give me pretty much 3 fastening points, one at the top, one in the middle, and one down the bottom. That they're not in a perfect line really is not a big deal. It's just a matter of being able to mount those battens where I could in such a way that they will be able to take the panels and just give them some support with their width. So as you can see here, it's not exactly a straight line. I've now got those in the middle of that space, and I'll be able to fit fasteners just to support the middles of each panel. Same with this other side. It'll do the job. This is one of the battens that I made up recently with the mitre bevel cut off them, and so now it can be seen what the plan is here as I was describing earlier. The idea is to fit the batten to the actual lining panel, and then the batten, once fixed to the panel, I can screw through that straight into the bulkhead. So again, as you just saw me, it's just a matter of put the panel in place, holding that batten onto the lining there, and then just pushing in until it hits the frame. And I've just marked that. So now what I'll do is take that off, just give this a quick sand to roughen it up, the same with the panel, some Fix 15, use the galvanised screws to screw this to the panel, and then I'll be able to come up later, drill holes through this, 3 holes, and fix it to the bulkhead panel. So I've had to stop with the lining installation here. For those who saw a prior video regarding the holes that I put into the frames to run the conduit, you will remember that I was contacted by a shipping engineer who very graciously offered me some good shipping advice. And the solution that he suggested was that I put some knees to support, which will support where those holes have been bored through the frames. So I need to stop with the installation of the lining here now on the starboard side, because these knees need to go in, obviously, before I start covering up this area with the lining. So I've just been down to some local stores to get some flat bar steel and also have that sandblasted. So it's down below and it's ready to be cut up, and then I'll start the painting process. But it is a bit of a stop moment here so that I can get this done, and then I can come back to the lining and other work. And of course that will mean peace of mind that this is going to be strong. It's quite a blustery day today. Here's the bit of flat bar. It's 40mm by 5mm thick, and I will mark out and cut that up and then get it painted. as you saw, I've just whipped up that little knee and it will go like that. And that's how it will be installed. It should correct the error that I made with drilling those holes. So that's those beams made up. Didn't take long to whip them up. I'm deliberately not touching them because they've been sandblasted. Even the greases and moisture off your hands, it can just contaminate the steel. And so I've cleaned that with acetone, as you saw, and I won't touch that with my bare hands now. What I'll do is mix up some paint and then get some gloves on. With the holes already in them, I can hang them up, which is very handy. And as I say, get the first coat of paint on them soon after they've been sandblasted and then, as you saw, wiped with acetone. It's not always possible, of course. That's basically the aim, and it's the same when a boat is being sandblasted. The idea is to get it sandblasted and get the first coat of paint on as quick as possible and also without touching it. So as I say, it's just the ideal. I'm using the Jotun Jotacoat 605. It's the same paint that I put on Mistress, and so I'll be using this for those little beams. So it's exactly the same paint. I really have been so impressed with this paint. It's a very easy paint to work with. Even if you don't get the substrate perfectly prepared, this will still bond. It's really, really great. I just find it easy to top coat over it as well. Light sanding. It's a really easy paint to work with. I hope that you can join me in the next video, everybody. Well, who'd have thought that this little job would take so long? I've also, as you saw, tapped threads into each end. Well, that gets those in. Pretty happy with the way they've come up. And I'll be able to put fasteners for those. And I'll be able to put, because I don't have any, because regarding the holes that I put and cause an imperfection in terms of getting, in terms of what? Please like, subscribe, hit that bell and share. I'd really, really appreciate that.